Correspondent. Why have Amnesty International picked on Britain's role in this specifically, Quentin?
Well, because Britain was bombing Raaqa along with France and the United States, though most of the bombing was done by American pilots. And John, one of the striking things when you go into Raaqa, and I've been to a lot of bombed out cities, is the scale there is simply breathtaking. I've never seen destruction like it. The US Marines who were shelling the city, and something like 30,000 hits in the space of 5 months, bragged that they wore out the barrels of their howitzers. They hadn't dropped so much ammunition on a city since Vietnam. And that's the question that many people in Raqqa are asking. Why was so much dropped on Raqqa? And as you just heard from Mohammed Al-Khalil there, a man that we visited twice, the other question is, why aren't Britain and American service members visiting these sites where civilian casualties took place, investigating? Why is Amnesty International being left to do it? Why isn't the international coalition investigating? Why isn't it apologising? And why isn't it paying compensation? The message from the coalition seems to be, IS brought this problem on you. We liberated you from IS. You should be grateful.
And the Ministry of Defence here has admitted, only one civilian death, causing only one civilian death over the past 3.5 years, and none in the cities of Raqqa and Mosul.
Amnesty visited 42 sites and spoke to over 100 people. The Ministry of Defence has had a look at those coordinates, the times of the attacks, and said it had nothing to do with them. But let's remember, Britain was part of an international coalition which was bombing that city relentlessly. The coalition has admitted to something like 842 deaths. Some people say it may be as much as double that. And in fact, John, it could even be a startling statistic that in the battle to liberate Raqqa, to free Raqqa, that the Western coalition may have killed more people there than the Islamic State itself.
What does Amnesty International want to happen now? Does it want any other inquiry set up, or what?
Well, I think it wants some of the lessons to be learnt here. The coalition says that, look, IS don't play by proper chaps fighting war rules. They're brutal, they're merciless when it comes to civilian populations, and they use human shields, and they should be held responsible for that. The coalition says these were new tactics. That isn't quite true, because in Mosul beforehand we saw that the Islamic State were using human shields, and I think the message that Amnesty and others are trying to get to the Ministry of Defence and to the international coalition is, obviously we don't think you were as bad as the Islamic State. Obviously we can see there are mitigating circumstances to that enormous loss of life in the battle to remove the Islamic State, but you should take responsibility for the deaths that you caused. And if you don't take responsibility, there will be no peace, because it's very hard for people in a city to forgive you and welcome you as liberators if you've killed their family, destroyed their home, and you haven't apologised for doing so.
Quentin, Sommerville, thank you very much.